Okay, let's start with an image. Imagine being brilliant, truly gifted, an architect, maybe the best. But you're confined, trapped. You and your son stuck in this tall tower on an island. Why? Because some tyrant king put you there.
Right. We're talking about Daedalus and Icarus in Crete, the labyrinth.
Exactly. And Daedalus, being the genius he is, figures out an escape. An impossible one, really.
The wings?
Yeah, wings. Made from feathers, just gathered feathers, and simple beeswax. Incredible ingenuity born from desperation.
It really is a desperate gamble for freedom.
So they're ready to go. But first, the father, Daedalus, gives his son Icarus this one really crucial piece of advice.
The famous warning.
Fly the middle path. Not too low, because the sea spray will soak the feathers.
Right, make them heavy.
But not too high either, because the sun will melt the wax.
And we all remember what happens next. This is probably one of the most famous falls in mythology.
Absolutely. Icarus gets up there, feels the sun, the wind. The sheer joy of flying.
Gets carried away.
Totally. Forgets the warning, flies higher and higher towards the sun. The wax melts.
And he plunges into the sea, past Samos, near the island now called Icaria. A tragic end.
And the lesson we always take from this...
Well, the standard moral is pretty clear, isn't it? It's about controlling your impulses.
Right. Don't get overexcited.
Don't get too big for your boots, as they say. It's a warning against hubris, egomania, that raw, untempered appetite for more.
And look, that's sound advice. You can't argue with it, really. A life without some awareness of those dangers.
Well, it doesn't end well. We need that caution.
We absolutely do, no question. But here's where our deep dive really starts.
Okay.
What if the sheer drama of Icarus's fall, the spectacle of it, actually blinds us?
Blinds us to what?
To the other side of the story, to the hidden moral, the subsidiary idea that's lurking just beneath the surface.
So you're saying it's not just about the dangers of flying too high? Exactly. Because if we only focus on the crash, we miss the fact that this is also a story about escape, about hope, about daring to find a way out when authority, even foolish authority, tries to keep you down.
So it's also about the necessity of even trying to fly in the first place.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Which raises a really important question, doesn't it?
Which is?
What about the people who never jump? What happens to those who are too scared to even try on the wings? Who stay in the tower?
The tragedy of inaction.
Yes, that's the hidden moral. For every Icarus who crashes because they flew too high, maybe there are, well, countless others who wither away in the prison.
That hits differently. It's less dramatic, maybe, but deeper.
I think so. Imagine that state.
Yeah.
Not just physically confined, but mentally, psychologically trapped. Maybe not even in a room, but like metaphorically, at the edge of a box, inside a cupboard, under the bed, that kind of confinement.
People who are just too afraid of their own potential.
Exactly. Too frightened to access their own freedom, their own power. Too timid to even imagine pushing back against unfair limits. Too sort of cowed to believe a better future is possible for them.
They never even get near the window, let alone the sun.
Their wings just gather dust. They might live a long life, technically, but they die in despair inside those walls anyway. Maybe analysis paralysis, maybe just pure risk aversion.
Wow. Okay, so this ancient myth is giving us two distinct warnings.
That's how I see it. One is the very loud, very famous warning, be careful of flying too close to the sun. Ambition needs limits.
Right.
But the second, quieter warning is about the terrible risk of remaining a prisoner your whole life, the cost of never daring.
And that second one feels incredibly relevant today, maybe more so.
Perhaps. We face fewer literal tyrants, maybe, but plenty of internal ones. The fear that keeps you on the job you hate, the relationship that drains you, the creative project you never start.
Those are modern towers.
They are. And the myth, seen this way, isn't just a cautionary tale. It's also a story about the necessity of escape, about having the courage to plot an alternative, to give something new a shot.
So if we're caught between these two potential tragedies, crashing spectacularly or fading away in silence, where do we look for guidance?
Well, let's look at the other fetcher in the story.
Daedalus, the father, the inventor.
Exactly. He's the one who successfully navigated, isn't he? He didn't crash, but he also didn't stay imprisoned.
Good point. He modeled the successful escape. He wanted his son to get out. He didn't want the tyrant, Minos, to win by keeping them there forever.
Right. He didn't just preach timidity. He didn't say, oh, bold plans never work out, let's just stay put.
No, he built the wings. He encouraged Icarus to try them on, to feel the possibility.
He talked about heading out on the prevailing currents, having a shot at reaching new lands. He believed in strategy, in ingenuity, and in taking a calculated risk.
So Daedalus represents that middle ground.
Yes. The successful attempt to find that good midway point,
Yeah.
not succumbing in the prison, but also not drowning out at sea due to recklessness.
And the lesson there.
That we shouldn't let the fear of spectacular failures, the Icarus crashes we see maybe in business and public life, completely paralyze us. We shouldn't let those stories kill our appetite for, well, for novelty, for satisfaction, for necessary change in our own lives.
But fear is sometimes rational, isn't it? How do you know when it's wise caution versus self-sabotage? When is it Daedalus preparing, and when is it just someone too scared to even gather the feathers?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? And I think Daedalus gives us the clue. Preparation, strategy.
He didn't just leap. He planned. He engineered.
Exactly. We have these clever minds. We can plot sound escape routes.
Yeah.
We need sensible precautions, yes. We need strategy. We need forbearance, patience.
Try.
But and this is the key. If we only obsess about the crashes, if safety becomes the only priority, the lowest common denominator for every decision,
Then you're choosing the tower.
then you're fated to die in despair in the tower anyway. You have to plot the escape route. You have to build the wings before you worry excessively about the sun.
This makes me think about how we internalize advice about risk. Our own personal Daedaluses.
That's a great way to put it. Our attitude towards risk, towards freedom, it's often shaped by who Daedalus was for us. The influential figures in our lives.
Right. You can almost picture two types of influence.
Go on.
Well, there's the kind of Daedalus who talks about it realistically, gently, maybe imaginatively, discusses risks and returns.
Huh?
They acknowledge the dangers of, say, overexcitement, but also the dangers of meekness, of staying put. They see the tower and the sun as like equally real threats to a full life.
They equip you, they give you the wax, the feathers, metaphorically speaking, and they trust you to navigate.
Yeah. And then there's the other kind,
The second type.
the one who just cannot stand the thought of you taking flight at all.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe because they haven't figured out how to get out of their own prison yet, and so they project that fear onto you.
So their warnings aren't really about strategy or navigating risk?
No, they're about paralysis. They fundamentally seem to believe that any boldness, any attempt to reach higher, just leads straight to catastrophe. Stay safe, stay small, stay in the tower.
And society often reinforces that second message, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, think about it. We hear so much about the failures, the big crashes. The public falls from grace. Every time a company goes bust or a celebrity messes up, it's kind of like seeing Icarus fall again.
Yeah, the warnings about flying too high are everywhere. Ambition is treated with suspicion.
We know a lot, maybe even too much, but the catastrophes that can follow ambition.
Okay, so bringing this right back to the listener, you're facing a choice, a possible change. Career, relationship, a creative leap. Something that feels like standing on the edge of that tower. How does this myth help you decide? What do you do?
I think the first step is to honestly assess which tragedy you're actually leaning towards right now. Meaning, are you genuinely at risk of reckless, Icarus-like ambition with no plan? Or are you, perhaps more likely, paralyzed in a situation that's slowly draining you, stuck in that tower of stagnation or fear?
So identify your current biggest danger.
Yes. If you're stuck, if you're in the tower, then your main imperative isn't more caution. It's probably ingenuity. It's action. It's figuring out how to build those wings.
Don't let the fear of the sun completely obscure the misery of the prison.
Precisely. Don't forget that there are real, potent, soul-crushing risks that come with never pushing yourself, even just a little, closer to your own sun, whatever represents vitality and warmth and growth for you.
It's not just safety versus failure.
No. The story, especially with Daedalus at the center, offers that third way. Calculated freedom, ingenious escape. It requires strategy, yes. Forbearance, yes. But it is possible.
So the question for you listening right now is maybe this. When you think about your life, your choices, are you guarding more against the spectacular crash, the fall from the sky?
Or are you guarding more against the slow, quiet despair of never leaving the tower at all? Which fear is defining your current path?
That's powerful.
And when you feel that next urge for change, that need for escape, take a moment, look at your approach. Are you just obsessing over the potential for melted wax, worrying endlessly about the fall? Or are you actually doing the work? Are you plotting your route with the ingenuity of Daedalus, with balanced strategy? Because remember, the goal wasn't just to fly. It was to reach new lands.
Think about the risk, the tragedy of never even trying to reach them.
Exactly. Think about that.